look inside my life, you see it's like an open book. Everything I got out the mud, cause I never took. Never looked back once, I kept stepping. 30 plus years later, homie, I'm still repping. On my baby boy, minus all the Jody drama. Stood on my own too, still had love for mama. I'm a problem now, enemies, I got them now. Went from being loved to being hated, I'm a problem child. Got with the homie maniac, we the hottest now. Back on death row like Snoop and Dre, chronic style. They say God bless a child that can hold his own. That's why I independent grind, keep my mind strong. Got my mind on making money and success. So my future solid, talking $1 million checks. Only thing I stress in life is a better way. So I remain humble, pray to God every day. Alrighty, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, look at this. Getting Big D ready over there in the makeup room and everything. I see you over there. Welcome everyone to the show. Shout out to the stylist for the evening, Miss Monica. That's my boy Big D. We are here. We are back for another episode of Keeping It Real. Let's talk Keeping It Real. Let's talk about it with Big D, aka Keeping It Real. That is the man. I am the man, G-Lew, and we are back for episode 2. Ladies and gentlemen, let me see. There we go. We are here. We are back for episode 2. What up, Big D? How you doing, homie?
I'm doing good, brother. How about yourself, man?
Man, I'm okay, man. I can't complain. I know you were a little bit under the weather. Are you feeling better, bro?
Oh, man, a lot better, man. You know, it's just a little bit of a rest, a little bit of love, you know, some nutrients and everything. Right. The body just comes back and, it suits itself, man.
Right. Shout out to the people in the chat. Shout out my boy King Real, long time, homie.
What up?
My boy King Real has a great channel as well, man. He speaks about mental health and things of that, and he's a great artist as well. So follow him, King Real. What up, homie? Shout out to Pamela Taylor. Let's talk about it, Pam. What's up, Pam?
What's going on, Pamela?
And we have our producer DD Hairston. She's gonna join the chat as well. Get a little bit of a woman's perspective when we talk about leading by example and things of that nature. So she's here as well. We'll go ahead and get it started, D, and kick the what would you call it? The breakdown of the episode and what it's about and what we're talking about, bro. I'll turn it over to you.
All right. So basically, we're talking about exampleship, and exampleship comes in many ways, and as I was telling G-Lew, like I said, exampleship comes by, we could set examples, we could serve by exampleship, we could lead by exampleship, and we can make an exampleship. So as you guys know, like yesterday, man, I don't know if you guys learned, it's crazy how this topic just came up. Yesterday was a perfect meeting of exampleship when Will Smith went and defended his wife, man.
Ooh, wee.
And at the same time, Chris Rock was part of that exampleship, So yeah, man, shout out to Will Smith defending his wife, whatever the meeting was, and for defending his family, man.
I just had to do it, man. Facts. So let's talk about that. I started to upload that clip, but everyone's seen it all day. It's trending right now. You just go tapping your phone. But let's talk about that even before we get started. I'm glad you brought that up. Shout out to Monica in the chat. Love 2018 done. Let's talk about that for a minute. What do you feel? What do you feel about how that whole thing kind of went down? I know it caught everyone kind of off guard. Some people say this goes back. We already know Chris Rock makes a lot of kind of jokes of that nature, but they seem to be friends. If you look back at their history, they were friends. He's friends with Jada, with everyone. So, what do you think came of that? We also learned too that Jada has some type of disease or something that's causing that. People didn't know it. I'm sure. I don't know if he knew or either. But what do you think about that, and what kind of caused that, the history and everything leading up to what happened? And even for people who say they're not sure if it was staged, like what do you think about that whole get down? What up, Goob?
Yeah, for a quick minute, I mean, to this day, I really don't know if it was staged or not. People are saying it wasn't.
Right.
Like you say, Jada Pinkett, I guess she has some kind of, syndrome.
Alopia, that right there with my boy King
Yeah,
Real.
yeah,
Lopez,
yeah. Okay,
Lopia, Lopez. I don't know how
I
to
never
pronounce it.
knew. Yeah, I never knew that about her. And for like I said, Chris Rock came out. Kind of, I mean, I ain't gonna say he insulted her, but I mean, how else would you say it?
Right.
And he made a comment, which Chris Tucker does, like he said, this is, the Emmys or the Grammys or
Right.
so forth, so forth. And he's a comedian, right? So
Right.
he's eating by example, shit, man. He's doing what he's doing, right? He's just being an
Right.
example, being a character, coming out doing his thing. But that's what I'm saying. Sometimes by exampleship, it could be a bad example.
Right.
And in that scenario, in that situation, it was kind of an example that was very offensive towards Will Smith. So Will Smith, coming be an example to his family, he got up and he defended his wife, man. And that was unexpected, man. To tell you the truth. And he got up and slapped the slapped
Got the
the
taste.
slapped the taste out of Chris Rock, man. And
Man.
like you said, for a minute, I thought it was, like you said, it was staged.
Yeah, because it
But
just looks so. I mean, I wasn't watching it live. I heard about it, so then I went back and looked at it. But even when I looked at initially, I was like, "Wow!" I mean, because it just looked so smooth. He just walked
right,
straight up and just, "Wow," And then
right,
Chris Rock just took it. He accepted it. You know what I mean? So I'm like, "Wow!" I'm like, "Wow, okay, right."
right,
So I'm like, yeah,
right.
and then he just walked off, just smooth, like, yeah. And then, but when
But
he
then
sat
again,
down, but when he
yeah,
sat down and they played the audio, that was when I was like, okay, I don't know. You know what I
yeah.
mean? He
Well,
seemed pretty serious.
yeah, it started getting real when Will Smith started cussing, man.
Right.
When he started expressing himself,
Right.
like I
That's when it
said,
got
that's
real.
when I kind of was like, "Hey, man, this is I don't know, I don't think this is staged, man." And when he
Right.
was out there, you know what I mean, and he said it twice, and
Yeah,
that's
said
how
it's
I know
yeah, yeah.
when
You keep my yeah, he
yeah,
did.
that's how I know when people are real and they're talking and their censorship when they start saying keep my wife's
Yeah.
F name
Yeah, and he
out
said it loud with authority. Yeah.
with authority. So that made me think this ain't staged, man. So
Right.
pretty crazy, man. Like I said, there was all kinds of way of exampleship yesterday. And shout out to Will Smith, defending his wife, and standing up for her. It doesn't matter what avenue or what revenue we're at or what scenery or what award ceremonies we're at, man. You say the wrong thing to the wrong person at the wrong time, man. You know what I mean? It could be real. It could get real quick,
The
man.
homie
So
Javier said he said it with his chest. Yeah, he
he
did,
said it with
bro.
his chest,
He did. Nah,
man.
he did say that's like I said with whether or not anything, whether it was staged or not. That's what made me really feel okay. This is real when he said it, like Javier said with his chest. He really like the second time he emphasized keep my
Yeah,
wife's name,
yeah,
in front of live people. I think the crowd, everyone. I think even everyone in the audience as well was probably shocked and didn't know how to take it. Is this part of the act? You know what I mean? That's why I think it went. Thank God it went the way it did, and not because it could have went any type of way, bro. When you slap somebody home, you got to be ready for what comes with it. But it could have went any type of way. But I think even the crowd, everyone just probably really didn't know, what was going on, how to take it, and just was all in shock and awe, like everyone else. Didn't really know because the crowd was clapping, and Chris played it off good. But when Will sat down, I think that's when people knew he was serious, like when he
yeah,
said what he said. So, I
yeah.
don't know. It is what it is.
And
Yeah,
and it was trippy too because that was like how they said usually they have security. I don't know if security was there and everything and
right,
all. But
right.
those are stuff, if you really think about it, Chris Rock could have put some press charges on.
That's what I mean, and that's another thing. What's up, Nate Love? That's another thing that made me at first like be unsure about it because like you said, it's security. It's it could have just like immediately when it's an altercation, security is gonna come, rush and won't because it could have went in. You didn't see any security, you didn't see anything. You know what I mean? And that was Chris Rock and Will Smith. But just think if that was like someone else, or that was Will Smith, snapping a one of those actors. I don't know how it could have went, bro. It would have been secure. So I don't know, but either way, it is what it is. But that was
Yeah.
my only thing,
And like I said, man, not only that, he could press charges too. We
Yeah,
still don't know.
they said he refused to press charges. So
Right.
I
So
don't know.
if they mention that, then it was a serious notion. It was a real act it was a real act of his what he wanted to do. So man, like I said, and not only that, what tripped me out too, because there's other clip that's on the social media, on YouTube, and everywhere else. And you see P Diddy try to defuse the situation,
Right,
man.
right,
So,
right, right. He
somebody
did.
was trying to be an example there, man. Lead by
Right,
example, man. Hey, we got to
right.
defuse the situation, man. And not leading up to what was taking place was that Will Smith was being honored, for
Oh yeah, yeah. He won an
the
award.
movie.
He won his first Oscar that night as well. So it's like, he wind up winning later on his first Oscar ever. Think of all the movies Will has been in. That was his first Oscar, bro. So he won
Yeah,
that night. You know, it's a lot with that, bro. DA picks up charge, and that's another thing, homie. Like he refused to press charges, but do we know the DA won't pick it up? That could be a big case, even though it's BS. But it could be those are two big figures, so that could be big for the DA. You know how they do it, homie.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. And this is
um,
LA, so anything can happen
right,
over there. Man, you know what I mean? The
right,
district
right, right.
attorney could come, say, hey, he may not press charges, but we will. So
Right, and you don't know
man.
how he's being pushed. Just a lot of, I'm sure, after the after effects of the aftermath of all this is really big right now. So we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, who's pushing who to do what. You know what I mean? What's going on? If Chris Rock is just whatever, or if he's like, okay, Will, but I still need that fade afterwards. I won't press. What's the deal, homie? Because either way, still Chris Rock. What does he do after this, bro? You feel me? He has to do something as well. He was wrong and Will is his homeboy, so Will had every right. You feel me? But still, you got slapped in front of the
Millions,
world, bro.
millions of
So what
people
is
around the
so what
world.
does he do now?
Yeah,
You feel me? What does Chris Rock do?
I mean, the last thing he wants to be rolling around thinking that he's a
Right,
beast. You know what I mean?
right,
So,
right. So you feel
you
me?
know,
So where do we go from where do we go with that part? What does Chris Rock do?
and not only
Marvelous,
that,
what's up, Marvelous?
yeah, not only that, man. It's just like, hey, how does the Oscars go forward with this now? What are they
Mm,
going to do to make sure that they're, the next, ceremony, or the next, place, the next awards that come on? What's going to happen? How are they going to take care of? Not everybody's safe now.
right,
So
right. How do
there's
they move forward?
yeah, how do we move forward, and how does the Grammys move forward? There's a lot of implications that could take place, and things could get out of hand next time. Next time somebody could bring a knife, next time somebody could bring,
Right,
bring a
right.
gun. It's just like,
Done. Just defend
and so
themselves.
basically
But
they're hosting the ceremonies. They're the ones that have all these actors, these famous people that are on stage right now. What I mean? They're supposed to be the exampleship, what I mean, of all of us that are looking at them, and we nominate them, we vote for them, and it's just like, man, and how does it work? How does how does this take
But
place?
check this out, D. Check this out, Big D. On the flip side, though, you can say again, saludos, Big D. Okay, Two Souls Forever. What's up? On the flip side, you could say, look at the Emmy or the Grant. What is this? The Oscars. A lot of people say for years it's been on the decline. See, this is all what we have to look at too. The Oscars is not in the best standings as it has been, viewers and all that. Obviously, this was big for the Oscars, whether it was negative or not. Everyone's talking about it. I'm sure it took the ratings through the roof. You know what I mean? So, like you just said, where do they go from here? But I think it was a win for the Oscars too because it was big. Everyone's talking about it. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, if people know that the ratings have been on the decline for years, so you know what I mean. This was big for
Yeah,
the Oscars too. So again, it goes back into it's Hollywood, man. So it's a lot. Even though it was real, I believe it some other things along with it, bro. Because this is Hollywood. You feel me?
it's more. Yesterday it was more like Hollywood, man. You know what I'm
Hollywood. Keep my wife's name out your
Oh
mouth,
man,
okay?
my
And he
wife's
said
name,
it again.
effing
Hey,
mouth, man.
hey, he said it with his chest, like the homie Javier said.
Hey,
Man,
I love Chris Rock, man. Trust
yeah.
me, man.
But Chris Rock, as we all know, he's good for pushing that. He's good for those type of jokes, bro. You know what I mean? He
Right.
is. But to do that right in, I don't know. Maybe that's not his. I'm sure he's done it plenty of times. But maybe this time It just was not, you know, it wasn't happening, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Sometimes
I'm
in
sure
life,
as we go forward, things will come, more things will come out. You know, we'll figure it all out.
yeah, yeah. Anyhow, man, that was pretty
Yeah.
crazy. Man. Yeah, but
Uh,
anyways, like I said, man, that was pretty crazy. Um, yeah, man, like I said, man. So leading by example, that was a good demonstration of it yesterday. But
oh,
moving forward, man, yesterday,
you
I
put
mean,
the demo down.
put the demo down, man. You know, I'm glad we could open up to that little topic, that little subject.
Yeah.
But like I said, man, there's other ways of exampleship that we go through. And one way that I like to configure is be an example in my household, bro. You know what I mean? I like to be a role
Talk
model
about
in
it.
my household, man. You know, I'm an
Let's
example to
talk
my
about it.
I'm an example to my wife. I'm an example to my daughter. I'm an example to those who are around me, man. And exampleship is very important, man, because we like to say, you know, people judge our characters, bro. You know, exampleship, a lot of exampleship has to come with characteristics. You know, it's like, hey, what is this guy representing? You know, what is he doing? You know, what kind of vibe, what kind of messages is he sending? And
Right.
like I said, if there's the opposite of exampleship is unexampleship. The
Mm.
opposite is bad exampleship. In other words, you know, being a bad example, man. So, you know,
What
I
would
always
you say? Hold on. Not to cut you off. I just want to cut in and get everything in proper perspective. Did we give a can we give a good example or definition of exampleship?
exampleship is leading. Many ways you can lead by what you do, what you call, what your cause is, what your beliefs are. You know what I mean? What your faith is in. You know, how you conduct yourself, and how you represent yourself. Uh, uh, um, those are the examples, the main ones to me, bro. You know, because I always like to make sure that I'm doing all those at a steadily base. You know, nobody's perfect, man. You know,
Right.
let's just throw that in too. You know,
Right.
not you know, being exampleship to me also is being who you are when nobody's looking, bro.
Oh,
You
that's a
know,
good.
when nobody's looking, man. You know,
That's a good one,
because
bro.
a lot of
My
people come out.
my homeboy on my radio show, my homeboy Hank from Long Beach, he always says that at the end of the show, like something like you said, but he said, try to live like all the time like God is watching you. You know what I mean? If you do that, bro, you know what I mean, you would do a lot. You know what I mean? If you just knew God was watching, just like if there's cameras everywhere now, so people move differently. You know, some people, well, the smart ones do. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
you know, it's cameras everywhere. So think if cameras were on all the time, you know how you would be cautious, right? So, you
right,
know, live as God is watching you, man, because that's the most high. You know what I mean? And we're still not perfect, but if you just did that, just like you said, you know what I mean, that would like cut out a lot of fat. You know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, the Bible does say you got to strive for perfectionness, man. It doesn't mean you are going to be perfect, but there's nothing bad about striving for it, you know,
Right,
because every
right,
day,
right,
man, you know, people are looking, man, you know, and people need role models, you know, people need father figures, people need
right.
brotherhood, you know, people need this. So people are always looking for that type of exampleship. And it's crazy because if you're leading by good exampleship, you know, people will follow, man. You know,
Exactly.
that's
Because
the whole
people,
thing.
and people, whether we know it or not, it's a lot of people looking for examples and people to follow, even if they don't show it or don't think so. Even young homies, hard headed dudes, whatever the case, homies in trouble. They're really looking for someone to look up to. They just may not tell you, but they are. So they're always watching. You know what I mean?
Right,
So
right,
that's why the homies they respect. That's why whether you know it or not, they respect certain things and certain people and certain homies. You know what I mean? Because they're watching all the time. And if you are living righteous, homie, you know what I mean? People will respect that, and there's people watching, homie. So, like he said, always lead by example, the best of
yeah.
your ability.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that, bro. Let's talk about we're
I'm gonna
bringing that
bring
up.
hold on, I'm gonna bring while we're speaking, I'm gonna bring Didi in because she wanted to join us to get a woman's perspective as well, you know.
Okay.
So we'll bring Didi in. Didi, what up?
Hi.
Didi, what's going on, Didi?
How you guys doing? How you guys doing?
You got
We're
some
doing
background like a fan or something,
good.
like air. You hear that, D?
Is it there? Can you hear it?
I don't know.
Yes?
Maybe it's just me. Did you hear like a fan or like a background, Big D?
I don't hear nothing.
Okay, you're good.
Okay.
Okay, maybe it's me. Okay,
Okay.
go ahead. You're
Yeah,
good.
I don't have doors yet on my on any of the
Okay.
doors in my house yet. So you might have heard Eric walking by. How you guys doing tonight? I'm
Doing
so
good. Doing
happy
good.
to
Good,
be
good. Thank you
here.
for asking. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, yeah. I was, you know what? While you guys were talking about Will Smith, I thought as I was sitting here, I was thinking I was going to type it in, and I said I'll just wait. I was going to ask both of you: do you guys think that it's like Will Smith or Chris Rock or LeBron or Kobe or any of these famous people? Do you think it's their responsibility to be role models?
That's a good question.
I think yes and no. I think automatically um they're gonna be whether they want to or not. And that's what I think these athletes and actors and whoever has learned over the years, whether they want to be or not, they are going to be. You know what I mean? Because you are a you are famous because people support you and buy your music and go to your concerts, pay $100 or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? So whether you know it or not, you are and you need to be. But I think what it is as you see certain artists or actors or whoever mature over the years, like because sometimes they may come into this entertainment business young or not knowing as well, and they're or just young. You know, when you're young, you're growing and you still whatever. So I think that as they mature, they learn that they are role models regardless. You know what I mean? So I think
Not only
yes and no.
Yeah, not only that, they carry a high platform. So,
Mhm.
like you said, if they're athletes, singers, musicians, or so forth, they have a higher platform than others can reach. So, like G-Lew said, they become that, that role model. They become that exampleship, and sooner or later they develop that, that mentorship. Because exampleship is also mentoring. You got to mentor.
Right.
We could say, stepfathers are mentors. Some
Mhm.
of them, right?
Some
And
of them.
that comes from the household, so
Right.
Right.
so it's just crazy how that becomes. But as far as they do, like Jesus said it perfect. They don't may not that's not what they may not require, but sooner or later they develop that kind of thing and they end up doing it without them even knowing it.
Right, because Will Smith has since Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Will Smith has been like one of my son's like ultimate favorite, and to watch him fall off that platform last night, and Will Smith has walked a career like I mean, he's always played a safe. It is not the first time Will Smith has hit somebody; it's like the third.
Oh,
So
really?
this is not new for Will Smith, and the reason I know this is because my son has followed him since Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. This is not the first time. They're making a big deal about it because he did it at the Oscars. He's done it before. And someone made a joke or made it. Me and my son were watching a show last night because I keep my sons very close. G-Lew knows that, especially this 20-year-old. Um, I've always told them don't look up to these famous people because they will crash and burn. So
Right.
don't follow their examples. And as you just saw Will Smith do this, now you see Will Smith crash and burn right now. And I mean, as you've seen, Will Smith has been getting a lot of flack right now. And that stress, look at what happened on live TV. If you saw Jade, at first he laughed, and then you saw Jada's face, and then he said, "Oh, that hurt my wife."
Yeah.
And he could not, with all the stress that's been coming his way, he could not take that and hold that inner peace that I've worked really hard to get because I was um a bad example for my kids. As we're talking about example, I was that bad example that violence was the answer, and
Yep.
not for this 20-year-old, but I was for those older kids. And he could not keep everything he worked so hard for, couldn't keep it in place. And look at what happened last night.
Yeah. At the same time, so he was leading by example for one good term, and then a bad example by another term, all in
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
night.
Yes.
So
and
that's
and who's going to forget that?
nobody.
Yeah. And
No.
I mean, I understand defending your wife. If you go back and watch and see her face, it was just, and any man that loves his wife is going to want to, it took, us many, many years to learn that you can't just, um, you can't just hit people, the
Yeah.
husband has
Oh, right,
defended
right. That's what
me.
I'm saying. Yeah, you can't just
Yeah.
hit that could have went any. That's why I say I don't know. With me, it's still in the air. As
I mean,
far as
like
what really, I don't know. That was just too
the
smooth
way the
though.
three of us
But
were raised, it was
he,
because Chris Rock was like, he
he
called him
just
by
like,
that
wow,
character's
okay.
name.
He was
And he's
just
like,
like,
okay, I don't know
okay,
what's
I
about to
just got
happen.
right, right.
And
So
he said
wow,
it.
they
He just
boy,
slapped the fire out of me.
yeah, just walked off
Right.
smooth, like yeah.
Oh, it was West Philly, born and raised. Yeah, the Philly came out.
Yeah, but all in all, man, we're all humans, man, and we do the best that we can. Most of us, right? Most of us
Yeah.
try to be the best examples that we can in life, man, because life comes with a struggle.
Right.
So with that, we learn, with the struggles to be the best examples, to be the best role models, to be the best figures that we can, because we come out of this dire, lifestyle, man, and we're just trying to make impacts in people's lives, man. Like how G-Lew said, it's funny how that happens, man. I could touch base on one thing, like the gang, right? The gang, the neighborhood thing. I remember when I went into my neighborhood without having a father, I was looking for people that will lead by examples, right? And it's always the older homies that lead by examples, right? They're the ones that these guys are like, your father figures, your big brothers, they're the example. They're the ones that will go to prison, go do this, go do that. And so those are your mentors. When you lead, when you're leading somebody by example or leading, it's a mentorship. You're mentoring them. You're mentoring them. It could be for good. It could be for bad. Based so you want to live up to those expectations. You want to live up to those strong points. You want to live up to that figure. And that's one thing that I could reflect on. When I was part of my, my gang and everything, I was always looked up to the older homeboys, and I wanted to be better than that, and something that I could teach my younger homies, like, hey man, do it this way. You got to do it this way. You got to do it this way. If you don't want to pass away, because in that kind of, when you lead it by example in the neighborhood, it's about life or it's about death, man. It's not really, it's not really a fun situation like the Oscars were last night. There's other titles, there's other scenarios, there's other outcomes, there's other algorithms that this, it could go to. And, and by that, by looking at the certain homeboys that I was following and led by example, I was able to learn so much from them and then take the good off of them. And then the bad, I just throw it away. And that made me who I am today to a certain point.
Right. And see, because I've been watching and I've listened to stories, especially that you've told, and you were talking about fathers one day, and I was fortunate enough to have my dad come and take me away, because I was raised that I got beat up once, and then my brother beat me up and was like, because the hood, you're never gonna get beat up again. So he beat me up until I learned to fight, and then I got beat up once again in the 8th grade, but it was like never again. So in the hood, when you raised it in, from the dirt, when you come from, where you don't have anything, that was the mentality. You got beat up once, you'll never get beat up again, and we're going to beat you up until you learn not to get beat up again. Then my daddy took me away and he took me to New York. So when you have a dad, your lifestyle and the way that you're raised, when your daddy courts you and raises you and teaches you something different, I'm a little different than, I got a lot of brothers and sisters. My mom had 3 husbands, so it's a whole lot of us. So I was just raised a little different because my daddy removed me and he took me to New York. But then, like everyone in my family's been fingerprinted and not for jobs. They've been fingerprinted because they were arrested, So that, yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Hey, I know there's a lot of comments coming in, so I just, like,
no, you're good. You're good. Big Harp is just one I rarely see him, so I just had to shout him out.
Yeah, I saw OG Steve come in too. We see you, OG Steve.
Yeah.
Go ahead, so it's so hard to, when you get both lives, but the life that when you're really raised, from you're outside all day and everybody, your parents are working. My mom had to work and the stepfather wasn't a great role model. Then that's what you learn in the streets. You learn to be in the streets, and that's why I said I wasn't a good role model to my first kids. Somebody did something to my kids. This 20-year-old, he's seen me angry very few times because I said I would be different. I wasn't gonna, and that was my kids' answer to conflict resolution is what I taught them was violence.
Right.
Yeah.
And that has to be based, like you said, on exampleship, like what the title is,
Right.
And it's crazy, because like I said, it comes in many ways and many forms, my stepfather too. I had a stepfather growing up. I know that you guys know a little bit of my story, my past. I didn't have my father growing up at all. My father was taken away from me at 9 months, I believe. So since the beginning of life, I was robbed from my fatherhood, from me having a father. So like I mean, we expect those type of characteristics to be installed in us as young kids from our father figures who set exampleships, right?
Yes.
Your fathers are the ones that teach you how to do this, they teach you how to do that. It's a mentorship, right? They mentor you. Your mother mentors you. You see the relationship. You see how the good and the bad of your parents, and you see the good so you develop those characteristic skills. You start developing and say, hey, well, my father was a good man. He was a hard worker. He was a good example. He was a good role model. But then again, you got bad exampleships, right? And you can say, hey, my father was an alcoholic. He was a drug addict. He used to beat my mother up. So it's just like, man, that's what I'm saying. There's bad examples and there's good examples, and it depends on you. What kind of exampleship are you going to give? What type of one are you going to represent? I had to find that out later on in life, what type of role model I was going to be. Without in the beginning, I didn't have a father figure. So, I mean, I wasn't stable. When you don't have a father figure or a mother, your life could be unstable. It could be unbalanced, so your judgments and your characteristics and all that, it's hard for you to make the right choices and the right not. So that's where part of exampleship comes from, or you make choices. And so when I was growing up, I didn't understand either. So all I knew is how to go forward, how to survive to the next day, What was I going to learn today?
Right.
Until I started being accountable. That's what things started, exampleship started coming, because I couldn't use all these, I want to say sad stories, but people get tired of the sad stories, because everybody has the same story. Most of us do. A lot of us do.
Yes.
So what we want to do is we want to see the outcoming of that story. We want to see, well, okay, because only bad could go so far, but everybody loves a good story after that. One thing about Will Smith, I'll say one of his best movies that it really installed and inspired me. I don't know if you guys seen it, was A Pursuit of Happiness. Have you guys seen it?
I wasn't a Will Smith fan until I saw that movie, and I used to go to movies by myself on Fridays, waiting for my kids to get out of school, and I sat in, how when he's in that bathroom trying to hold that door. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I was like, do not cry in this movie. Your daddy raised you better. You better not shed one tear.
Yeah. I mean, if there was any Oscar he should have won it for that night.
For that one.
That should have been for that. Because he played a man, if that movie explains a lot about exampleship, wife, his relationship with his baby's mom. I don't know, but his wife, she couldn't die with the situation of having a child, believing in him, knowing and trusting that his background, that hey, if you just give me a little bit more time, don't worry, we're gonna make it. But see, sometimes through hardship, he had to change he had to do a different change. And he went out and he built a career, man. He went out and he studied. He found a different element, a different direction. And man,
him and his son just.
He was the first to really ever do that. Yeah, him and his son, that was crazy. But Will was the first to ever do that. As far as a hip hop, a rapper. You know what I mean? And really.
Yeah, because this 20-year-old was like,
I can't believe that was his first Oscar. I can't believe that. Yeah, he was if you look, Will was the first rapper to win a Grammy. So let's put that in perspective. You know what I mean? So Will has done a lot. I can't believe that was his first Oscar though. But
me too. Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And the greatest thing is he didn't win it for being a bad cop or a drug dealer. Another Grammy went to that drug song. It's so hard
everyone talk about this. Same way, but.
For being a prostitute, right. He really won an Oscar for playing a really decent role.
Right.
Right.
So that's a good way of exampleship there, man. But big shout out to those two, man. Who come in and who are the positive. Like I said, I want to keep daring with the parenthood, because parenthood is very important. I mean, it's a lot of.
That's the best mentor.
Yeah, exactly. The best exampleships too.
Exactly.
So even
glad you said that. The parent is the best mentor, whatever. You know what I mean? Definitely, it starts in the home with the parent. you know,
Yeah.
whether we
And
know
to
it or
see
not.
the transition, because like I'm a teen mom. I married the first husband, and we had kids, and I was a teenager, and he was older than me. But to see my older kids, to see the transition of all the mistakes that I made with them. No, it sounded the greatest mom. I was like, no, I wasn't. If you knew all the mistakes I made, to see, the transition as a mom, to see that they saw like they make mistakes in their lives, to see the ones that I made, and to know that you can transition to where I've achieved, so they can see, yeah, you do make mistakes and you got to grow, from 17, to, and then the way I raised this 20-year-old, like to see, oh man, man, mom did grow up, and mom did, because like another show we did with G, we were the parents that had all the homies on the porch playing dominoes, and those were the parents we were, because we were so young, to then grow up and then be the parents that we are, because on my personal Instagram, my son put a picture of Queen Latifah, when she was in Set It Off, it was like, this is mom raising us. And then Queen Latifah on her talk show was like, this is mom with her grandkids. So
Mama Didi's gonna set it off right now.
So to see the transition, and that's how you set, that's, and then they also saw that I was the mom that took in all their friends. I moved my kids to Whiteysville for a better education and to get them away from all the negative things. So their friends needed better education. So from my best friend's son, from Lancaster to Inglewood, from Compton to Long Beach, all these kids came and stayed with us to go to school. So for them to see that, for them to then do the same thing, so that's where they see the transition and the growth. And then you could go back and say, they can go back and say, my mom did these things, so my sons can do these things. And then you can see the transition into that last son. So that's how you become a role model to your kids. And they don't look at basketball stars, and they don't look at football players and movie stars,
Right.
Yeah.
And that's crazy how you said that, Didi. You know what I mean? Because big shout out to those that all the single moms, man. All the single moms.
Shout out to the single moms for sure.
Yeah,
yes.
That are raising
I take my hat off.
Man, that have to be the father.
Definitely to the single moms.
Big shout out to the single moms, man, who are there being the best example, the best role model, man, to their kids, man, because you see that a lot of times these days, man. Like I said, my mom was a single mom, and she was raising me the best that she could, and the best role model.
Mom too.
Yeah, giving the best exampleship that she can. And man, she, I ain't saying my mom did a perfect job, but
no, not by far. But when you look back at it, you say they did the best they can. I look back at it, I do that sometimes from time to time. Like, damn, it wasn't the best, like you said, but I look at a lot of good things and things my mom did. Like, wow, I can't believe she did that. You know what I mean? Did for my friend, like a lot of stuff she did. So it's like, yeah, and to see them go through, because me too, single mom, 3 boys. I had 2 other brothers. So. Yeah,
and boys
shout
are
out to the
hard.
moms. Yeah,
I know people say girls are hard because they got to send them out, but boys like to hit each other.
Yeah.
They like to break arms and bust their heads open. So boys, yeah. And I have
every piece of the family, man, plays a part, bro. You know what I mean? Especially even shout out to my grandparents, man, straight out.
Yes, shout out to the grandparents. They kept it real though. The grandparents kept it solid. That was the last generation. You know what I mean?
Lead by example. Let me tell you, man. Oh, grandma used to
talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Grandma used to come out with that old phone wire, man. Hey, get over here.
Let's talk about it.
They kept it real, man. But man, they were the ones that were there too.
That kept the structure together. That kept the family. Once I'm sure with every race or whatever, once the granny goes, the things kind of follow. The family.
Abuelita.
You know what I mean? All over. You know what I mean?
That's on every family, man. It's just crazy how you said, because they live long, they live life a long time. They develop all those skills, how to work through things, how to handle things, and they lead by example perfectly. They don't do it direly, but they almost have it perfect, man.
Right.
When you become 80 years old, 70 years old, man, you almost have the answer for everything.
I wouldn't change it either, Pamela. I will take 5 boys over 5 girls any day. I didn't like myself as a teenage girl, so I definitely wouldn't want 5 teenage girls running through my house. I'm sorry, I hurt. That's our comment.
Shout out to those grandparents, man. You know, big
Yeah.
shout out, man,
Yeah,
because they
for
did
sure.
like
They
exampleship, you know.
did the thing on thing. They're really the, like you said, the example. For sure, in every way.
Well, shoot,
You know what I
my
mean?
mom brought that old Cuba. I mean, she came from Cuba and brought that Cuban style up. My kids were deathly afraid of my mother.
Oh
So,
wow.
oh,
So yeah, so Didi, so you're part Cuban?
my mother, yeah, my mom was born in Cuba. Her whole family migrated here. Not her whole family. Her brother is still there.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow, that's pretty interesting, man. You know, and they were trying to leave that Fidel Castro, that whole.
that's why they left.
Wow,
Yes,
wow,
Mhm.
that's crazy. They're trying to set exampleship right there, man. Trying to look for a better life, you know. Try to
right.
Right.
looking for a better algorithm and stuff. And wow, they had to do what they
Oh
had to do.
yes,
That's crazy. That is
Yeah.
crazy,
yeah.
man. But
That's
Yeah.
man, you know, I
What
mean,
else
like,
we got? Big D. How else do like say for instance you, um, or me, whoever? How do we lead as men as men that we are, lead by example? The past that we had, like you just said, you come from a neighborhood, different type of things. Do you like nowadays? What do you feel about the younger homies that are still, active or want to be active or doing the things they do? And um do you feel that you um are some type responsible to deal with some of the youngsters, even though we move on, we do other things, or not active involved in the neighborhood as much? Do you feel it's still your responsibility to not mentor but just be there for some of the homies or see what's going on because you were part of what formed that what they represent now?
man, you know, it's funny that you mentioned that, Gila. It's really crazy how you mentioned that, man. Um, you know, through this YouTube, you know, I was able to reconnect with with the homeboys, man, you know, and letting them know where I'm coming from now and just trying to shed that light and that positivity, you know.
Right.
And going back, to the neighborhood, I didn't expect to see what I saw or what I'm seeing now, man. And it kind of like, I ain't gonna say it's nothing bad, but it ain't good either, you know. So it's
Right.
kind of hurt me, man, in a long sense, man. You know, it just made me feel like, man, I went through all this way because you feel some kind of responsibility and accountability in some
Yeah.
sense, man. And what you want to do now in your latter days when you get older, just like show, hey, that love and that companionship, like, hey, man, be that exampleship, like, man, you don't got to do this, you got to do that. And going back to the streets, man, let me tell you, man, it's the same thing where we came out of, man. There's drugs, there's still gang banging out there. There's still a lot of hatred. There's a lot of frustration. There's homelessness, man. It's just a lot of things that you got homies that are older, man, and they're just they choose not to change their ways. They want to be
Right.
out there.
Right. Right. Right.
You
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah. A lot of that. A
so
lot of that.
I go back, what I mean, and I've been, I talk to my generation mostly, and then you got these new ones, and basically where my neighborhood stand is just trying to bring that unity, man, because there's a lot of division. There's a lot of division in the hood right now, and it's just like, man, you gotta. I try to tell these guys, like, man, if you have any differences or you have any animosity or anything with the homies, man, you just back in the days, man,
You
the
got
prime
to, yeah, let's handle it.
the prime exampleship where the homies used to tell us, like, hey, if you want us to have something to say to some homeboy, yeah, get them up,
Right.
get them up.
That part.
All I
That
used to
part.
know,
Be done with it.
no guns, no, because you even got like net banging now. I guess the
Yeah.
Instagram,
It's
Facebook.
totally different. No one is gonna, these youngsters will tell you they ain't even gonna fight. We ain't even, so it's like you
There,
don't
there,
stand a
there.
chance. So you gotta be careful out here, even as a man as yourself, and us defending ourselves. So, or
Yeah,
because like you said, it's nothing that let's, but they're not doing that no more. You know what I mean? So it's like, wow. So it's like you just got to be careful out here, and it's hard, like you said, to even deal. Like I asked you that because I think about that too, and we all have to feel some type of responsibility. But like someone said earlier, I think Pamela says she said, I want to be example to whoever will receive it, and everyone won't receive it the same way or the way you want to put it, or however. So it's a lot of obstacles that come with that. But like like she said, and I'll be here for anyone who wants to receive it, and we have to be held responsible. And just like I said earlier, um, were role models or whatever in one type of form or fashion, however you were raised and how people look up to you. So we deal with that in that way.
Right.
But it is hard, and people play by different rules now. They're not raised how we were, so it's just a lot. It's harder to, you know, make sense with the
Right.
youngsters, bro. So, I don't know.
Right. So that's like you said, that's funny how you said that, and that's how I told you, just the inner reaction, you got to know how to approach the people too.
Right.
Yes.
So you come with good news, like the Bible says, I come with good news, man. I don't come
Yeah.
with harm. I don't come with foul, foulness. And it's up to you how you're going to receive it, basically, man. So a lot of these guys, they're receptive to it, they don't want to receive it, because they look at you like, oh, well, you're like 15, 20 years old, man. That was like a long time ago. But you know what?
Right.
I tell them nothing has changed, bro. You know what I mean? What you're barely learning now or what you're
We
going
already,
through,
man, yeah,
yeah,
we
I
did
already
it,
been
and
there
they
and
did it before us because we were told. We didn't believe, but
yeah,
man, it's like, man, it's just
yeah,
it's just like a rerun, bro.
yeah. My
That's
example
it.
shit comes a long way, man. So it's just
Right.
like, and if you don't want to receive it, then that tells me what type of person you are. You're going to be a hard one to get through. So I'll give it to the next one that does want to listen, because out of
There you
that
go.
bunch there is that one.
There
Out
you
of that
go.
bunch there is the other one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you be
You
proactive
can't
with
save
those.
everyone.
Yeah, you be proactive with those who are willing to listen. Willing
That
to
part right
learn.
there.
Yeah, so
Right.
those are the ones, because all you got to do is just get to that one or two. And I have one or two that led me to 3 and 4. So,
Mm.
like I said, I bring that unity. We go, and there ain't nothing wrong hanging around with your friends or back your brothers and stuff like that. You just don't have to be involved and participate
Right.
anymore.
Right.
In what
Right.
you're doing.
But sometimes the one that makes the
Right.
most noise, I checked on one of my kids today, and he made the most noise. He couldn't stand me. Oh my goodness, we had him on the show. He just made life miserable. Like, and then I had to just really like get it, just get. And then now I check on him. He spent like 10 years. He's down. But I checked on him the whole time. He came home. I checked on him, but he was the one that broke the easiest. After I got in him. Yeah, he broke the easiest. The one that makes the most noise, is usually the one that it wants your help the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and then it helps you, believe it or not, because like you go through the struggle, you go through the gangs, you go through the violence, you go through the trauma. It leads you to be a mentor to those other kids who do want to be involved, who do or even think about it. I mean, that's why this whole purpose, this platform's here. That's why I have my platform. I'm pretty
Right.
sure, G-Lew, you guys have this platform for that. It's not just about, I mean, hey, I want this rating
Right.
for this, or I want this rating
Right.
for that. It's to share light into darkness, to let kids and young men, even young men. I found out that there's a couple guys who got jumped in my neighborhood, and they were past 18 years old, and I was just like, I never
Wow.
even heard of, what I'm saying? You guys
Wow.
get jumped into gangs, you got to be a teenager, man.
Right. Right.
You
Wow.
don't get jumped in when you're 20.
Wow.
So, but
Yeah.
anyways, like I said, man, that's what
That's the new stuff.
Yeah, that's what my platform's all about, man. I mean, I'm pretty sure I know your guys' platform is all about, man. It's just making sure, trying to get to the next generation, basically, man. And there's a lot of platforms that are out there, saludos and cheers to those who are doing the good thing to that. And let's keep pushing that narrative, man.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So overall, what do you think you guys like, DD, Big D, leading by example? What can we take, like, because we could talk about it, all night and won't do want, but what can we take from this that we can do, since we brought up this topic and making this show, to really show that we're doing it? You know what I mean? That we're walking what we're talking, as far as leading by example.
Ladies first, go, Didi.
Well, I've always made it a point to before I got hurt at work, when I coached girls basketball, um always I've always been one to we used to go read into the schools to try to grab the younger kids before they got into the system. I One thing I've always tried to do, I'm a woman's kind of woman. So I've always you've seen the women come in and out of the show, the people that I've helped.
Right.
I Even if I help read people's I've read so many people's books before they get published, you know, that's the one thing. I'm a woman's woman. I really try to reach out and help anyone that needs help. I
That's
offer
what I
my
want to
help.
do too. I want to have. I want to in the future have 'cause I got a few people even that I interviewed. I told them they need to write a book, and some people don't know how to get started, how to do it, and I tell them, DD is a publisher and an author, so I
Editor.
want to yeah, all that. So I want to have a show too one time or whatever where we talk about that, how you can how you can help people or lead them in the right direction to write a book, because a lot of people have these stories. We hear them all the time now. We're hearing more and more stories. Monica, I think she said she's in the process of writing a book. All these people with these incredible stories, these ladies, these women. Corey's coming on the shows. I told her she needs to write a book. So we want to do something where you could, Dee kind of do that, speak on that, or how
Yeah,
to
and a
do
lot of
that.
people
And
want to
that can
take a
open a
lot of
lane for
money
you too
for
as
you
well.
from you. Yeah, they want to take a lot of money just to help you. I'm really not that kind of person. I will really show you where to go and what to do and how to get it done. And then always at work. I don't work anymore. Thank you. My work is sitting here. I'm at my desk. That's why you see it this way today. I don't need to show my hookah. I always stop. Like if you were struggling in the job that I had, men didn't help you. So I've always been one to stop and help you. I still get calls to this day. My son will call me and have me talk to certain women that are struggling and don't like certain things are happening to them and they don't know where to go or what to do, or they get stuck on, whether it's paperwork. To this day, I still help women when it comes to the job, or I always like I saw you struggling, I'll pull you to the side quietly and help you. It's just I've always been a woman's woman. It's I'm more, I think I just give of myself to anyone that needs it. With the young kids, my son, we had his best friend with us for a little while. He's a little fisherman. You know, I don't share a lot. Certain posts I do share on my Instagram. I haven't been on for a long time. It's been a rough year for me. So this year I'm just now getting back into the flow of things. But anyone that needs any help from me, I'm always willing. The young kids, I've always had an open heart for the young kids. I would really like to start a mentor program for young girls, because a lot of young girls that have been troubled and been through a lot of things that I've been through, a lot of people don't know how to get over, and it's one thing I learned from my mom. My mom would still cry about things that happened to her when she was in Cuba, and they don't know how to get over.
Right.
And that's the one thing I would really like to do. I was in
I
talks
think that
with
would be a
you.
great thing. Like you said, when you mentor these young ladies and all that, I think a great thing you can push, like I mentioned, was the book thing and how you can teach youngsters, like just like an artist like me. If I rap, I do music, I could teach a youngster how to make music,
Yeah. Yeah.
engineer and rap or whatever. You can show them how to write these books and what they need to do, because that's your
Yeah.
expertise. You know what I
You know,
mean? A lot of people have stories and want to write books right now, but don't know
yeah.
how to go about
Yeah,
it,
I
DD.
did. I did a mentor program with the girls. Everybody only knows me for working with the boys, but I did a great mentor program with the girls when I first started in probation. But I guess because I was so good with the boys, I got popped over there. But I wrote a whole program for the girls, and we did um, self-esteem, parenting, controlling your anger, which I studied that really well because I really needed to at the time. So it was a class, and that's what I was telling. This is for both of us because I need to learn how to do this also. How to balance a checkbook, things like that. A lot of them didn't even know how to, what opening a checking account. But a lot of women that are in their 30s don't have checking accounts.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and the biggest thing, like when people say self-esteem, he took my self-esteem. Nobody can take your self-esteem except for you.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing women have to learn. You know. So
Yeah.
that's, so I really do want to get into that eventually.
Mhm.
Working with, and not just young girls, because a lot of times these girls, in these young kids in their 20s are so lost still. They
Yeah.
don't have,
Yeah.
they don't have abuelita, they don't have grandma, and their sisters don't stop and help the way my sister did with me. And my grandmothers raised me. So my grandmother, my aunt, my mother, was really there for me as I got older. So
Right, right, right. I want to elaborate a little bit on that. It's funny how you said that exampleship. It's crazy how you said it. You said it perfect, Didi, and it's helping.
Yeah.
Exampleship is helping others, man. And it's not expecting anything back.
That
You know,
part.
Yeah.
it's not expecting anything back, man. And it doesn't, and helping somebody doesn't cost anything, to tell you
No.
the truth, man. And it's kind of sad because, you know, people do expect, you know, a dollar sign. You know,
Yeah.
people do, and I understand, you know what I mean, that things cost money. But if you know, if you're doing a right deed, you know what I mean, it's funny how things just happen and everything gets paid for by itself. You know, God will go and open a door. This door opens,
Yeah.
that door opens, that door opens, and money's not even an issue. But that's the thing, like you said, Didi, is just by helping. That's a good way of exampleship. By you want to help them, you know, you want to set that path for them. You know, that you want to send that narrative. You want to be that example to them, and that's who we all are trying to be. You know, most of us, you know, I would hope, you know, and that's who I try to be to my wife. That's who I try to be to my daughter. That's try to be to my co-workers and everything else. And we're not perfect, but by being an example is helping others, man, big time.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. And that's what I think. It just takes, like they say, teamwork to make the dream work. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And bringing that's why this was a great idea and thing we did to bring the show together right here. Me and Big D, keeping it real, because we're going to change the game. You know what I mean?
Right,
We not
right.
only have two different culture races, but we're bringing it
Mhm.
all together, and we all showing that we're all really just one and the same anyway. You know what I mean? So I'm glad we could do this, and then I'm glad that we're starting off with the women. Like last week, salute to your wife, we had on here, man, to
Yes.
open up the season,
That
man.
was
That was
so great.
incredible interview, bro. It was like, wow, that story
Shout
was
out to
just
wifey.
incredible. Shout out to
Yes.
Monica, man. Incredible,
But it's
And
incredible.
you know, she's amazing
Go ahead.
because I could never open up the way and you know, you were on the show last Saturday, and now my Bible is way over there because I'm very spiritual. So I walk through faith, you know, not by sight.
That's
I don't
it.
go to any churches, but you know,
Not by
I
faith, not by sight, but by the Spirit, says
yeah,
the Lord.
That
There you
part.
go. There you
yeah. So and I was gonna show it to you, and I was like, man, I went off the show and I forgot. That's what I live by, and it was packed for like 6 to 8 months, and I was going crazy because all I could do was watch, and I couldn't read. And you know, my son was like, read my Bible, and it's not the same to be
Right.
able to be in yours.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right. Because, like I said, another thing that we have a common, and that's another thing for exampleship. Okay, so you know, same topic but a different narrative. You know, one thing that I learned, you know, being a Christian man, you know, changing my ways and stuff like that. I didn't change totally. There's just certain habits that changed in my life. You know, you are who you are. Period. You know, everybody thinks like, oh man, well, you become a Christian, that hey man, you know, you have to change, you know, dramatically. It's not like that. What it is that God's just trying to change your heart, man. That's all it is. And people have a hard time, you know what I mean, changing the heart, you know, because they want to stay where they're at, you know, and you know, that's my perfect exampleship, to be honest with you, is Jesus Christ himself, man, you know, because when it starts saying the Bible reflects on my lifestyle, and I'm pretty sure on everybody's lifestyle, because it talks about the ups and downs, the goods and bads. And basically, one of the main scriptures that talks about the Bible is that, you know, God is he's the father to the fatherless, you know, and like you guys know
My
my story.
son says that all the time.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
I was fatherless, you know, so straight out. So it starts making sense, you know what I mean? You get more into the Bible, since people like to read and stuff like that. You know, I want to challenge people. Hey, you know, get into that Bible. Doesn't mean you're going to change or anything. No, it's nothing else. That it's not going to hurt you, but it might do something to you. And that's what
But
example.
it does. It changes the way you think, and
Yeah,
it
you know,
actually stopped me from being so. My son passed away, and I had left everything because of that first husband. But my son passed away, and people were like, "How did you not lose your mind?"
yeah,
Because that it was the Most High. That's why, you know. People were like, I didn't. That is the reason, and I really started changing the way the way I behaved, my thought process, being grateful for life, you know, and it was just the opposite of what most people go through. You know, I lost my son tragically, and I was in the shower very angry. You know, the very next day I had to go and see his body, and I was very angry. And people don't believe, and that, see, you got me opening up the way you did your wife. I don't talk about my life.
real talk right here. Let's talk about
Yeah,
it. Talk about it. Keep
it
it
was
real. Keep it
him
real.
that day in that shower. and you know, people don't believe he speaks to you, and he did, and it changed my life. You know, and that is why I was able to raise my other 4 kids and keep going, and it didn't destroy our family. You know, because it was my oldest son, my firstborn. You know, and he was my everything. He was their everything.
Wow.
And if he hadn't spoke to me in that shower that day, my family would have crumbled.
Wow.
And we didn't. We're very close. We're you know, and Eric was tiny when it happened. So that's why I say when people say he's not real, yes, he is.
Right.
And that's why I stop now before I do certain things. I don't, my temper is gone.
Right.
I don't lash out at people. I don't seek revenge anymore. I don't, you know, because when I got that police report and saw that lady's name, the old me, she wouldn't have breathed anymore. You know, but the new me said, no, you know, he came and he took over. And my life has been just, you know, he brought me the second husband who's just been my rock through everything.
Wow.
You know, I never thought I could ever meet a man as good as my daddy. You know, so that's when I say he's real. He really is real. And that's not what we're talking about. Don't do that to me like you did your wife. We're not talking. Go ahead, G-Lew.
Wow.
Because you got your wife good. I was like, she just let it all out.
We go all directions here, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We lead by example, man. Lead by example. You know?
And it does, you know, and, you know, a lot of people, you do have to, you know, like accept him and believe that he's going to work in your life. And everything will change for him. Like everything changed in my world. So I'm happy. I'm content.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. He is the deliverer.
And G-Lew knows what I just went through. I mean, he knows the beginning of my year how it started, and look at me right now. So,
hey, it's like that song. It's Busta Rhymes. Look at me now. Look at me now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Wow. Yeah. Hit that like. Man.
Yeah.
So,
Brenda.
shout out to Brenda with love. Shout out to Monica. Shout out to everyone out there tonight. I've seen a lot of good people out there tonight. We're trying to lead by example, man. But this is what we want to do. And just by leading by example by me, like I just want to always, you know, whatever we do, the platforms we do, whatever we put out there, I want it to be. I think Javier even talked about it before, like just something you can be not ashamed of, like positive. Everything's not going to be perfect, of course, you know what I mean? But we're not going to get on here ever and, you know, do any, you know, things that are not, you know, of grown men and how we should be in stature, homie, and how we should be as older elder homies that live this shit and really, you know, we should be able to lead by example, and that's what I want to do all the time. You know what I mean? I never want to be, you know, doing no buffoonery or no bull. You know, I mean, nothing to be ashamed of. My daughter will look at this and say, "Damn," you know, never. So we're gonna we're gonna keep it real, like my homeboy Big D. Shout out to Western Ave Queen. What up? We're gonna keep it real at all times.
Yeah, because I mean, what's the opposite of leading by example, man? Is being bad examples. You know, there's a lot of bad exampleship that's out there right now, man. If you really look at the world the way it is right now, you know, so you know, you got wars that are out there, man. You still got, you know, there's color issues, man. You know, there's family issues, there's drug issues. There's a lot of bad exampleship that's out there in the world, and you know, it's funny how we could talk about certain things, but people don't want to talk about those certain topics, and that's why, you know, this platform and this show's here, man, to expose and to bring light into darkness and just give you guys the opportunity to share, you know, your opinions and come on board. And maybe you have those questions. Maybe you are questioning, you know, your lifestyle. Maybe you are, you know what I mean, want to do some changes and, you know, turn your negative into a positive. And we're trying to tell you is like, hey, it starts with you first, because the best exampleship you got besides God is you. You know, you're the one that has to set, you're the one that has to set the example, you know, not only to your kids, man, to your family, to your co-workers, to your school, you know, your schoolmates, wherever you go, man. You know, the Bible says, you know, they judge you by your fruit, man. You know what I mean? So if you're giving bad fruit, man, people are gonna notice you, man. Yeah. Let me tell you, because you can't candy coat anything. You can't hide the world today, man. You can't get away with anything, man. You know, everything's on camera, man. You know, everything's on film. Everything's everything. So, you know, right away, if they want to expose you, man, they're gonna expose you, and they're gonna make an exampleship out of you. Trust me, man. You know,
and your kids see.
And
what
your
you think your kids don't see, they see.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I mean, I'll probably go off the topic a little bit, but like, you know, you got your adult filmmakers, man. You don't think they have kids? And what kind of example
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
and that
That's
stuff?
good.
Like, it's like, hey, you know, the money looked good in the beginning, you know, but now, you know what I mean? Mama was a wild one, or daddy was a crazy one, man. So it's what kind of exampleship you're gonna give, man. Or do you want to be that one that's a step parent, man? You know, you want to be, you know, accept the child and be the best father figure you can, even though that child's not even yours, you know, or a mother that's not, you know, are you gonna be a rude parent to that kid? Or are you gonna be, you know, a mentor to that kid, man? So exampleship comes many ways, man, in many forms. And you know, the way the world is what kind of person you're gonna be, what kind of example you're gonna be, man.
My mom used to say she wanted to walk into a room and people say, "What does she have? What is it about her?" You know how people will tell you, "I'm a good person. I'm really a good person. Don't you see me? I'm a good person." She said she wanted, you know, you hear people say stuff like that all the time. You're like, "Are you convincing me or yourself?"
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she said she wanted people to just see that light in her.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, yeah.
Yeah, I get like that. You know what I mean? About certain people, I could say about G-Lew. You know what I mean? I don't know him, like I said, person this and that. But when I heard about him and I kind of know who he was, I'm like, oh, there's something about that guy. That's where people attract other people. There's just something about him. There's just
The
something
husband
about
says
her.
he ain't bored you yet. You usually get bored like 3 months after something. It's been years. I'm still right here. And that's my partner. That's my bro. You know.
Yeah.
He's like, how he didn't bore you by now? People, you get tired of people in like 3 months and you move on. And still here.
Still
He's a good
here.
dude. He's a good dude. Yeah.
Hey, we're just starting, man. You know what I'm saying? We are just starting, man.
Yeah.
You know, so man, that's pretty crazy, man. You know, being an example. Let me tell you another thing, man. Being an example it's hard too. It's really hard, you know. Trying to be that example is real hard because G-Lew said it perfect, man. Like in the beginning, you know, if you're an NFL player, NHL player, this and that, you know, they tell you. I forgot who said it. I seen it. I'm pretty sure you guys seen this too. Maybe you did, G-Lew. Charles Barkley, right? When he came on the show and he told like, hey, don't look at me to be your exampleship. You know, don't look at me. He goes, look at your parents. Look at this. I'm the last person you want me to be your exampleship. So just because I go and I score points and this and that, he goes, remember, I'm taking your money. I'm taking this. He goes, I'm the last person that I'll be your role model. I'm going to be your exampleship. He goes, always look at your parents. Look at your parents, man, you know?
Yeah. That's where it starts at. You know what I mean? That's your first example because that's what you see, you know, from young, you know. So as you get older, you know, that's either gonna be your biggest role model or your biggest, I don't know, whatever it is, but that's the main person in your life is your parent, you know. So that's why we love our moms so much. That's why we said earlier, you know, salute to the mothers, man, the single mothers, because it's like, man, we seen, regardless, good, bad, or ugly, we seen the moms be with us from day one, like always have our back unconditionally, bro. So that's why, you know, boys love their mom so much because they, you know, they did the damn thing, you know, regardless whether it was good, bad, or ugly. We know mom was there. You know what I'm saying? So it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and some other people took some role models a lot in my life too. You know, if it wasn't my mother, you know, my grandparents. If it wasn't my grandparents, it was my uncles, it was my aunts. You know, even though I grew up without a father, it looked like I gained more. You know what I mean? I had more solidarity, I had more unity, I had a lot of different aspects, a lot of people looking after me. So, you know, I was able to develop some kind of role model-ish, you know, now. And I always look at like, hey, like, you know, I look at kids now and it's just like, man, you know, like, you know, I see them and they're like, who's your role model? And the first thing I tell them is like, hey, well, God first, you know. Then I tell them I had a lot of role models, to be honest with you, you know. So I had a lot of role models in my life, man, because there was always people that God put in my path that had good intuition and planted a good seed in me, you know. That's why later on in life, I had to change my ways. I had to look at myself and tell myself, like, man, this is not the person who I am. So that's the way, you know what I mean? I want to be an example to those other women and those other children, you know, those girls and those boys. And like, hey, I have many exampleships, like, you know what I mean? It's the way you're going to receive it, though, you know? What kind of role model are you looking for? You know, so
Right.
we come in, you know, in many ways because, you know, like you said, social media right now is crazy, man. You know, they're, you know, what they're doing and what they're implementing and what they're saying and the music. It is just like everything. Role model exampleship comes in many ways, man. You know, music. You know what I mean? What's on TV. And right now, kids are just, you know, everywhere you go and you socialize with people, that's all you see is that little kids with the phones, man. You know, that's
Right.
the role model. That's the role model, to tell you the
Yeah,
truth.
yeah, the phone, huh?
Hey, the phone. They're like,
Wow.
hey, you guys.
Wow.
They're like this, you know.
Right,
And
right.
nobody censors their phone. Like my one little grandson,
Wow.
he can't watch. He has kids YouTube. That's it. That's it. Now with his mom, I don't know, but when he's here with me, it's that kid's YouTube. Because they watch some. Pay attention to go through their history that they watch on YouTube. You'd be
Yeah,
surprised.
them kids
No,
be
hold
on
on,
it.
dude.
Hey,
Hold on.
kids walking to your house, they be like, "What's your Wi-Fi
Hey, hold on.
passcode?
Memory. Hey, let
What's
me
your
see your phone
Wi-Fi
real quick.
password,
Here.
man?"
Nah,
Right.
just we're going to my
Yeah.
daughter. You know what I mean? Let me see your phone real quick, memory. Jeez,
Yeah.
man.
Because I did that. I
Let's
went
talk
through
about
that.
it.
Yeah, I went through the history and I was shocked. Just shocked. Flabbergasted.
But what kind of exampleship is a phone? Let me tell you that. You know, it's just like
It's the
Right.
demon
Let's
in
talk about it.
disguise.
she says the devil. Right? That thing, that's the devil, man, you know? Ain't that the truth, man? But like I said, man, like what kind of stuff are you exploiting? You know, what time? You know, the phone has better, and it's not only the kids' fault. Let's just be honest. You know, it's the parents' fault too.
Because you get busy and you say, go here, take my iPad.
They like, "What's the password? What's your Wi-Fi password?"
It's
Grown-ups coming to your house and ask your Wi-Fi password.
That's the
so
number one question.
you
What
know,
is-
you get older, you talk, hey, who was your role model? Who was your example? Oh, you know, the iPhone 7.
Right.
You know,
Wow.
it's just like, you know, things are changing dramatically and fast, man. You know,
Yeah.
and then
Real fast.
one thing that will never change is our characteristics, man. We're always gonna love, we're always gonna hate, we're always gonna be up, we're always gonna be down. You know, that's one thing. It's just technology, man. It's just changing everything and so fast. And whether you're gonna make good of it and bad of it, that depends. Whoever using a platform, whoever has a YouTube channel, you know, that's what kind of whatever exampleship you want to represent, it's gonna be exploited because, you know, even this day, I mean, let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about it. You know,
Let's talk about it.
I see things like even these days where kids are fighting each other, man. You know, just like
Man,
you know, they still having their disagreements. They're still hating on one another, and I'm just like, I seen something the other day, and I'm just like, man, are you kidding me? Like, what kind of exampleship are you guys being? You guys are saying you guys are for this race, you guys are for that race, but then again, you guys are fighting each other. Like, I don't understand
Right.
that. You know what I mean? It's just like, man, you know, that's making, first of all, that's sending the wrong message. Second of all, that's not representing my race. Third of all, that just looks bad, you know? So it's just like, man, you know, it's kind of discouraging, to tell you the truth. There's a lot of things that could make you discouraged, you know, on what you see, you
Yeah.
know?
yeah.
Yeah, and fortunately, we have the internet where they exploit a lot of that. You know what I mean? That's what we do see a lot. You're gonna see the videos where people acting ignorant, like you just said, embarrassed. You know, and unfortunately, that's just a percentage of what's out there. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. You know, it is sad to watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's sad too. On top of that, that people think that find that entertaining as well. You know what I mean? That they put that on the pedestal, and that's what gets the most views, and all of this
That's
and turns into
real
other things.
right
You know what I
there, man.
mean? Is the BS, man. Like you see, the most popular people now are the people that perpetrate a just whatever, you know what I mean? And it's
Oh
sad
yeah.
to say, it's just real, you know what I mean? And that's, I don't even have to say names, but those are the most popular people, you know what I mean? Pushing the most negativity or
Yep.
different or portrayals that we don't need to see as such, you know what I mean? That's put on a pedestal. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's just what it
My two
is.
older boys were here the other day and they were talking to the 20-year-old. They were talking about that, how that you won't watch certain things on television that you need to be watching, but you'll be on World Star. You know,
Yeah.
you could tell everything that happened on World Star, but you can't answer other questions, that you need to know. So that's my son is 20, he'll be 21 in July, and that's the sad part. Like
Real talk. Let's
And
talk
the
about it.
yeah, and the crazy part is that we're gonna look at it.
Yeah,
We're
it's
It
there.
draws you to it.
we're subjected to it.
But
So
that's where you have to stop. That's we have to stop. Stop. If we as we're talking about it now, if you stop clicking those channels go away. But when they're getting millions of views because we keep clicking it, we letting our kids
That's those
click it.
youngsters. That's those youngsters,
Yeah.
though. You know, that's really what gets all these
But
those youngsters that just sit on. You know, these youngsters they're on those gadgets all day and their phones and all, and that's what they they do. You
But
know what I
even
mean?
these YouTubers, like, we got YouTubers that are our age that are doing these
Oh yeah.
clickbaits,
That
and you got our age that are clicking on them.
yeah. Let's talk about it. I think we talked
Yeah.
about that, but let's talk about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's sad. I hate to see that too, man.
and
There's
it's
people my age and my like out there doing the BS. That's just really I hate to see that.
Yep.
That's not a
and
good
what's
look.
crazy, you know what's even crazier is that when you come out and you're trying to send a positive narrative, why is it so hard to get those likes and those looks and those
Yes.
people watching? But when you do
Because the
something,
BS is what's running again. I mean, that's what unfortunately is what is popping, man, popular.
Yeah.
you
You get
know,
a million
Unfortunately,
views
man.
on.
If we sit up here right now and just start all of a sudden talking crazy and this person and
Yeah.
just all extra out, and then we put it in the title and the description.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but if we
F
put
such and
WAC
such and
100 on
Woompa Woompa,
Clubhouse,
yeah, it's gonna blow
and, that,
up,
and,
Big
that,
D.
and, that- and that's what's crazy because, like I said, like I said, example shit comes in many ways. So, in other words, like, what kind of example shit are you going to provide? That's the
Right.
main. What kind of
Right.
example ship do you want to provide? What kind of example ship do I want to provide? And those provisions, it's okay. With me, because sooner or later, you always find those that along life. You know what I mean? As life gets, they go along, it goes along. And then they come back to the videos, then they start seeing what your show is all about. Then they understand what you're talking about. And then they start saying, man, I should have been following these guys a long time ago, man. That's the crazy part,
For sure.
So we,
Hey,
we keep our what we say based on, reality and what's good. We bring the good news, man. We don't bring nothing bad,
Right. Hey, on the side note, Pinchy Know It All, in that picture right there, is that a plate? That's like some good food, homie. What is that in Pinchy Know It All's
and I'm
picture,
so hungry.
homie? I'm over here because I'm hungry too. I'm looking at it like, dang, bro.
Hey, that's a good
Looks
example.
good. Hey, man, lead by example, Pinchy Know It All, man. Man, I know we got the chef. We have the chef
The
too.
drunken
I don't
chef,
think he's here.
yeah.
Drunken chef. So we got some chefs in here. That
Yeah.
plate looks good, bro.
Man.
That was a side note. My bad, bro.
Yeah, that's
Go ahead,
crazy.
Big D.
Hey, that's another way of leading by example, man. Cooking, bro.
Right. Good cooking. Good food.
Yeah,
Lead
I
by
was supposed to
example.
make mole tonight, and I took the wrong chicken out.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Will Smith. Let's talk about it.
I know.
Okay.
I was supposed to teach Eric how to make it, so yeah, he's gonna slap me like.
Let's talk about it.
Oh my God. Hey, it's okay.
Brenda, you're a chef too, Brenda? Let me find out, Brenda. Okay. All right. So let's talk about it. So man, again, leading by example, example ship. Hey.
He's leading by example. He
He's
wants to
leading
be
by
heard.
example. He said this is dog time. Hey, lead by example. Hey now, PC. Okay. So in summary, Big D, what do you think? Again, I asked earlier what we could take from this. We got that part, and we're gonna lead by example, do our parts. We're gonna all do our parts. Every show that me and Big D do, it's gonna be positive. You know what I mean? We're gonna, regardless of what the story is about, it's gonna end up positive, and you're gonna take something from it that you can grow and learn from. So that is our way of leading by example on the show. We're gonna talk about it, and we're gonna talk about leading by example. Rest in peace to homie Nipsey Hussle, whose anniversary of his death will be this weekend, and he said the greatest human act is to inspire.
Right.
You know what I mean? And lead by example. So that's what we plan to do. The marathon continues. So I'm gonna turn it over to Big D. Big D, what do you take from all this, bro?
And a lot, to tell you the truth, man. Basically, I just want to be you know, the best man that I could be, man. You know, the best exampleship, you know, besides my personal Lord and Savior, man. You know, to be Christ-like, to be that example to those who, I won't say that they're lost, you know, but some who are lost, man. Some who are hurting, you know, some who need guidance, you know, some who need a companionship, friendship, you know, some who wants to learn about loyalty, you know. So, you know, that's my way of coming out and just be who I am, basically just being myself, man, and never changing for anybody, and helping those who just who need that help and that guidance, man. So being the best husband I can be to my wife, and be the best family man I could be to my family, being the best YouTuber, not only to those who co-host me and those who bring me on their panel, and but to those who are watching, man, you know, because it's real serious, man. You know, exampleship is real serious, and you know, people are looking, like you said, like Nipsey Hussle said it, like you said right now, like you said it, any perfect, man. And so, you know, that's the type of exampleship that I want to give and provide, man. Not only exampleship is a way of expansion, but you could provide it too as well. So that's what I wanted to demonstrate, is just providing that exampleship.
DD.
Oh. What? Say it again. What am I supposed to be? I
Well,
also
no, we was just
listening
going
to
around
Big
thinking
D.
about what you took from the
Didi
whole.
was all like
What did
doing
you
like,
take?
wow.
Yes, he was all into it, man. Let's talk about it.
Oh, I love those.
Hey, let's talk
It's
about
a
it.
telenovela.
Hey,
Yeah.
but nah, what did you take from this whole um episode tonight? This whole get down, whatever we talked about, leading by example, exampleship, and the summary of what everything we talked about, and what did you take from it moving forward?
I love to being a father to the fatherless. First of all, Most High, He loves us. The Most High is a very special person to me, and we also have to know that Christ loves us unconditionally. Once you learn that, you learn a lot. Also, you got to start at home. And a lot of times, like I said, a lot of times our kids are watching. It's a lot of things that I watched my mom do that when I grew up. She didn't know I knew.
Right.
So you have to learn that your kids are watching. And Eric, the first time he saw an explosive me was he was still in the car seat, and that was, don't do this anymore. And that was an eye opener for me. Don't climb out this car and beat up anybody in front of this 2-year-old. And that's when I just changed my whole persona as
Wow.
far as the way I behaved in front of my children.
It's crazy. Even young kids could do that to you, right? Wow.
Right. The fear on his face.
Wow.
Because I couldn't open my car door, because someone had hit. I was in my mom's car, and someone had hit her car door. I was taking him to football practice, and he was like, no mom, no mom, no mom. My third son, the reasonable son, he has a temper too, but he's learning to curtail that, because he learned it from me. Was like, no mom, no mom. And I was going to climb out the back seat. Right. And that look on his face was like, and I think I only got into one physical altercation ever after that, and he wasn't around. But just even to this day, he is the face that says, learn how to not be so angry. Wow. And he's only in his 20 years has seen me angry 3 times, that time, another, and 2 other times. And I had to apologize the last time he saw me angry, because he was like, Mom, when do you behave like this? So make sure you understand your kids are watching you, and it starts at home. So when you think that they don't hear you arguing in the other room, or you're outside and you're doing something, you think that they're asleep, they see everything. So start at home and be that role model at home first, before they follow somebody famous, or they follow somebody on the streets, or they do something on the streets, or they find that role model on the streets and they start doing the stuff that we know we shouldn't have been doing.
Right.
So start having them look to you at home. And then sometimes, just a smile at somebody that might be having a bad day. A lot of times we look down and we look away because we don't want someone to say, what you looking at? But sometimes just a smile.
That's true.
Will brighten somebody's day. And it may just take that is what they needed that day. Yeah. So start with that sometimes, and then, and venture out, because sometimes just have a nice day to somebody can change their whole day, or their whole week, or the whole thing. And it just, I mean, shoot, Big D. You just said so much.
No, DD, it goes a long way. You're right, man. Just holding down to the simple characteristics. Be loved, be kind, be joyful. It goes. Those are good demonstrations of being an example, man. Because you never know, your good characteristics will go a long way to somebody. I like that. That's really true. It's really true.
Because we're just not kind sometimes.
Not kind.
Be the change you want. Pinchy Know-It-All said, "Be the change you want to see in the world." I've been depressed, and a smile goes a long way during those times. That part right there. Pinchy Know-It-All, and that plate looks fabulous,
like
bro.
Hungry.
Man, Pinchy Know-It-All. Smile can change.
I hope we can lift up your spirit. We look at that plate right there, and I'm hungry.
Right.
You made us all ready for dinner.
Oh, we
appreciate that.
So
you don't got to be depressed, brother.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm so glad that you said that, because you know how many of us hide it and don't, we pretend like we're just fine. I vowed it, I went a long time and nobody knew.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I never knew I was depressed, and I was, to tell you the truth.
Oh, yeah. We don't know what that means then. You know what I mean? It's now just getting, everything has a definition and everything mental, everything has a stuff that we all went through or been through, and we never, even thought of it that way. It was just regular, you know what I mean? Pretty much.
Yeah.
I just knew I wasn't happy. That's what I did.
Yeah.
And
you just dealt with it though. You just still,
Yeah. Because we were raised, and also if you were raised like me, it was like, get over it. That happened, and that happened. Get over it.
Just gotta get over it. Get over it for real.
You're depressed. No, I ain't happy. Yeah, you're right.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're just going through something, man.
Right.
Wow, that's pretty crazy. What you get from it, G-Lew? What you got?
Man, I took, man, like I said, I took, man, a lot from. I got a different perspective from everyone, but I still brought it all back together, and I think it still all comes together as to say the same thing. You know what I mean? That leading by example is just what we all bring. That's why I say everyone has the different stories and different ways they do it, but it all comes back around full circle as to what we need to do. And lead by example is being the best you that you can be, and being aware of the things you do. Leading by example, meaning starting with yourself, looking in the mirror and starting with yourself. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And doing what you do, and people are going to look at what you do. You know what I mean? And that's how you lead by example. And if you're doing for the most part, the positive things in the best way you can be, like I said, we're not perfect, and no one is. So you can't expect no one to be perfect or do it the right way. You know what I mean? There's going to be bumps in the road, stumbles. You never know someone's day, what they're going through that day. Mm-hmm. They may try to hold it together the best way they can, but man, we never know. You know what I mean? But overall, once you know better, we should do better.
Right.
Continue to do so. So that just sums it up for me. When you know better, do better.
Exactly.
If you know better, do better.
Each one teach one.
Each one teach one. You know.
Yeah.
That's what I got from it.
Yeah. Teach one. I like that, G. You said that before. I thought I was gonna steal it.
Mm-hmm.
Where's that thing, G-Lew? The claps. Do the claps.
Which? Oh yeah. Man, this is what it is. Let's talk about it. Episode 2, Big D, Keeping It Real, G-Lew, DD Hairston. Man, this is what we do.
Thank you for letting me hang out with you two. It was an honor.
Oh yeah,
that was an honor for us. It's always
an honor, and we already said from the first episode, it's about the ladies first. So we're gonna make sure we put the women and what's the word I'm looking for? Make them a part of everything that we do with the show. You know what I mean? So yeah,
it's very important. Yeah, it's very important that we get a woman's aspect of it. You know, because there's only 2 type of genders in this world. I don't know what the other one. This world's trying to say there's a 3, 4, 5. There's only males and females, man. It's very important that we get our opinions and you know and get their you know, the truth and the talk of how they feel and what they say is very important. So thank you, DD, for coming on, man. It was an honor.
Thank you.
How would I say this? You're welcome on your show anytime.
I'm usually in the background. I only pop up on Saturdays.
Hey, you're welcome on your show anytime. You know,
Let's talk about it.
talk
And
about it.
ladies out there, check this out too. Anyone out there who has any ideas or input, someone you would want to be a guest on the show, ladies out there, homies, anyone that has a story you want to tell, that you think it may, fit in with this show, you're welcome to let us know and we'll make it happen, man. Because look, let's talk about it. That's the name of the show, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna include everyone, the communities, the homies, the ladies, you know what I mean? Whoever wants to be a part of pushing this thing forward in the right direction, we're here for you, man. So let's talk about it. Big D, G-Lew, DD Hairston. Yeah, we did it again. So
Yeah. Episode 2.
Episode 2.
And
Shout out to
also,
everyone who supported
yeah.
tonight. Thank you, everyone out there. We see you all, and we thank you for the support.
Yes.
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah. Also, too, Gino,
Please
like you
smash
said,
that like button.
That part.
smash that like you said too. Any entrepreneurs, anybody that wants to has any kind of things that could provide like a service or anything, get a hold of us one way or another. We could use whatever you have to provide. We're open to anything that's willing to help out and any gains for the community. So hey, we're open minded, we're open hearted, and if you have anything that you could provide to the table, let us know.
That part. That part. We're here for your service. Don't get nervous. Keeping it real, Big D, G-Lew, DD. Hey, man, let's talk about it. Every Monday night, right here, we're going to be taking over. It's only going to get better and greater. We got some big things coming up. So stay on the lookout. Me and Big D got some things we're about to hook up. Got some big things coming up in the month of April. So everyone stay tuned. We're going to be talking about it. We'll be back next Monday night, same time, same place. Follow the homie Big D. Tell them where to follow you at. Let them know all the handles, Big D.
Check it out. You can follow me at Big D Keeping It Real, my YouTube channel. You can also follow me and Keeping It Real RF on my IG, and just let you know a little something that I'm doing. It's always about positivity. So come and check me out. I appreciate it. Like and subscribe, and make sure not only do you share my algorithm, but make sure you share theirs too.
Yeah, boy. DD.
I'm putting Big D's channel in.
Okay. Well, let them know where they can follow you. Let them know the books, whatever.
DD
Let them
Hairston
know you get down.
100. DD Hairston 100 is my YouTube channel. I'm about to start posting new videos. I just do book reviews, and I give spoiler alerts on my videos. I'm gonna start doing it again. And Instagram, DD Hairston 100. No, DD Hairston on Instagram. So, and then Saturday nights, the Hookah Lounge.
How about shout outs? Can we do any shout outs right now?
Go ahead, bro.
All right. Big shout out to two souls from CYA Entertainment, to CYA, all my people from CYA Entertainment. Don't forget to follow CYA Entertainment, to the Love Machine, Two Souls,
Love
the
Machine.
homie Kofi and everybody else. Big shout out to West Carson TV, Incredible Javier, Streets Ain't Loyal, LA Times, and just all you guys who are out there, man, who've been supporting me on the long way, not supporting in this channel too. Big shout out to you guys. Appreciate you guys, man. And like I said, let's keep rocking it, man.
And just keep it real. I want to give a shout out to everyone out there who tuned in tonight. Two Souls Forever, Pinchy Know It All. Your wife Monica, man.
Yes.
Brenda with Love. Mark Fernandez. There's so many out there. Who else was out there? Memphis, YouTube Memphis. Whoever was out there tonight, we appreciate the love. Shout out to Incredible Javier's channel, Sunny Boy, Streets Ain't Loyal, Cholo the Trucker, LA Times,
There you
Kev
go.
Mac Videos, my homeboy, the Hood Postman. Who else? I don't know. If I forgot you, it's all love. Appreciate you, everyone. And we'll be back next week. And thank you all. Peace and love. Big D, DD, peace. Let's talk about it. Yo.